Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm here with Tim again from Game Time, the gaming channel that I'm also part of. We're here to talk about holocrons again, as well as kyber crystals. Kyber crystals come in these little canisters. These are $16 at the park, and outside of the canisters, they look like this. I also did a video about the different cuts that you can get in your kyber crystal.
Check that out. It's definitely a good video.
Yeah, there's 27 different
a lot of crystals.
Opportunities to get a lot if you want to collect them all, like Pokemon. Too many.
Catch them all.
Too many. So we're going to go through the red category of the kyber crystals. So I'm just going to... It's like magic. So starting off with our first one is going to be the Vader 8-ball. So there's two types of Vaders that you can get. Both of them have the same cut, which I classify as a cut 4 in my kyber cut video. Thank you.
Here to help.
So kind. And so the only difference is the 8-ball sounds like a magic 8-ball. So we're going to start with that one first. Would you like to put it in?
Sure. All right. So you got to find the spot, which half the time is the hardest part.
Which is the fun part.
Yes. So insert it, close the container, and then you can turn any of the 4 sides. Doesn't matter. We'll still leave it up here because it's a little stabler up here, I think. And so we're starting with the Vader 8-ball, I think. No, regular Vader.
This is 8-ball.
Oh, is this Vader 8-ball? Okay.
This is 8-ball.
The future is shrouded.
So it's like a normal 8-ball, but Vader style.
No.
That's it.
You will pay the price for your lack of vision.
As you can tell, it's the classic James Earl Jones Darth Vader from the original 3 movies from the 1970s and 80s.
It is useless to resist.
Actually, it's not from the original 3 movies. He's been the voice for all of the movies, but, how do you replace James Earl Jones?
You can't.
No.
As you wish.
As you wish.
As you wish.
8-ball.
Failure awaits you. I have foreseen it.
So, Vader, will our game channel do well?
All is possible for one who commands the Force.
That's what it is. We need to get the Force.
Are people going to like, comment, and subscribe to my videos and channel?
The Force is with you. Success is within your grasp.
Hey-o!
Did you hear that? Like, comment, and subscribe.
He was telling you, and you don't want to mess with Vader.
Yeah, don't mess with Vader.
You have done well. This is your destiny.
You hear that? You guys have done well.
He tends to pick those up, but only from the
Events are
throat.
in motion. The outcome is unclear. The will of the Force is uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a repeat? I think that was a repeat. We'll try one more.
We're going to go to that no again.
Do not put your faith in prophecy.
Yeah, I don't.
Prophecies.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true. Choose poorly and you will be destroyed.
That's a thumbnail for you.
Your destiny lies along a different path.
Air Dolphin.
Yeah. That's a different path. Oh, come on. Here we go.
Events are in motion. The outcome is unclear. Yes.
Oh,
That's what we were looking for.
a yes. Don't look on my side.
Search your feelings. You know it to be true.
That was a repeat. That was definitely a repeat.
All is possible for one who commands the Force.
So you can tell the voices are they're randomized. They're not. There are a number of voices that you can get, and we'll list them out in the video so you can see what all the voices are, or we'll list them in the description so you get to see what all the voices are.
Well, I will list them.
She will. It's her channel.
My job.
Do not put your faith in prophecy.
Yeah, there's that.
But you can see that they just kind of randomly generate. So we were saying we were just going to go until no happened, but in reality, it's a lot before no can happen again. We don't know how many there's going to be and how many times we'll repeat it. This is always the fun part, trying to watch someone get the crystal out of the container, because the thing is insane to open. Like, the Jedi one is super easy. I mean, it's just like right there, and it's just bop. Like, it's super simple. But the Sith holocron takes forever.
Yeah.
And then finding it too, because it blends in so well, is just insane. Like, you really don't notice the difference. The only time,
this is the outlook, so you know it's not on this side, so it
Right.
has to be this side or this side
or the bottom,
or this side.
Yeah,
but
which
you know
that
it's
one you
not
know
this
it's not,
side
yeah.
because this is the pull strip.
No, that's the speaker too. I think that's where the speaker is on the bottom.
So it's
The only real way to notice, is if you look at it kind of from the side, you'll see the little indent where the finger hole is. So you can see, there it is right there. So that's really the only, and like if you're just trying to look through it quick, you don't notice it.
So we're gonna do Vader.
This
And
is just standard
just
Vader.
Classic Vader. Nothing unique about him other than it's Vader, Lord Vader.
Betrayal is the way of the Sith. Master and apprentice constantly test each other. The strong rise, the weak fall, and the power of the dark side grows. Anakin Skywalker was weak and sentimental, so I destroyed him. His fall was my rise.
It's true.
You have taken your first steps to a larger world, but the Jedi path is a dead end. Only the dark side can complete your training.
Yep.
Anakin Skywalker was weak and sentimental,
Same one,
so I
but
destroyed
like instantly afterwards.
his fall was my rise. The Sith know pain is a great teacher. From pain we learn focus and will as the way to mastery. Peace is a lie. There is only passion. Passion gives you strength. Strength gives you victory. And victory breaks your chains and sets you free. My armor hides a ruined body. But to the Force, we are not this crude matter. The fires of Mustafar purified me, and in the Force I burn brightly. The Jedi saw themselves as tools of the Force. The Sith know the Force is their tool, and a tool must be used. You can command the Force, provided you are worthy. The Empire's technological might is insignificant compared with the power of the Force. Yet that might shall bring order to the galaxy, and that order will serve my master's design.
Pretty strong words, don't you think?
I would think so.
Peace comes from order, and order comes from power. The weakness of the Jedi left the galaxy in chaos. The strength of the Sith will tame it.
Tainted? Taint. I think you
The
said tainted.
Empire's technological might is insignificant compared with the power of the Force.
I mean, it's true.
Yet that might shall bring order to the galaxy, and that order will serve my master's design.
He showed that. Or at least he tried.
For 1,000 years, the Sith hid in shadow. Now we rule in secret. The galaxy does not need to know that my master commands the Force. It only needs to obey him. The Jedi confused indifference with peace, dogma with knowledge, and weakness with serenity. Only the Sith see the galaxy as it is, and as it shall be made to be. Betrayal is the way of the Sith. Master and apprentice constantly test each other. The strong rise, the weak fall, and the power of the dark side grows.
Interesting.
Wow.
Peace comes from order, and order comes from power. The weakness of the Jedi left the galaxy in chaos. The strength of the Sith will tame it.
So we've gotten through quite a few of the Vaders. Like I said, Mallory will post all of the voice comments down below in the description because there are quite a few for some of them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we haven't even heard all of them at some points. We tried, but it's hard sometimes to get them all.
Yeah. So our next one is going to be Count Dooku. So Count Dooku is, I have classified as a cut 3. He's more of a jagged cut.
And I believe this is the voice of Christopher Lee from the movies. I believe it is. We'll play it and we'll check, but I think it is.
Ready? Oh, am I not pressing it?
You have no technique. Sloppy. But with the proper training, you could be a powerful warrior. You have a natural ability, but we must hone it. Are you up for the challenge of putting your hate to better use?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it is. It sounds very close.
I'll have much use for you. I foresee we will do great things together. I shall teach you the ways of the dark side. Soon your powers will rival that of the great Sith Lord Darth Maul. We will be even more powerful than Lord Sidious. We shall rule the galaxy together, my apprentice.
It sounds really close to Christopher Lee, but I'm not sure that it is. I feel like they might have gotten another actor to do it, like a voice actor, just for the sake of the crystal. But it sounds very similar to him.
You must strengthen your connection with the Force, my apprentice. Feel its power within you. Concentrate. You must connect with your hatred. Focus on your power building.
Getting a little
Do
aggro.
not think of anyone or anything else.
Girl needs to calm down.
Yeah, and as you know, Dooku's appearance in the movies, at least, was in Clone Wars. I believe was the movie he was. He might have shown up in the first movie in Phantom Menace, but I don't believe so. I think he was mainly in Clone Wars, and I think he also showed up in what was the third one called?
No, he died after his appearance.
Yeah, he died not long after, but I believe it was the second movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
Episode 2.
Your anger is your strength. Good.
This is like as Anakin's like
Yeah.
I'm gonna slit your throat.
I am more powerful than any Jedi. Know that you are dealing with a Sith Lord.
And that's when he was facing off against Yoda, I think. Or no, he was still facing off against Anakin at that point.
A failed apprentice makes for a foolish master. I'll have much use for you. I foresee we will do great things together. I shall teach you the ways of the dark side. Soon your powers will rival that of the great Sith Lord Darth Maul. We will be even more powerful than Lord Sidious. We shall rule the galaxy together, my apprentice.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. I find it interesting that he talks about rivaling the power of Darth Maul. And at least when the movie came out, we had seen Maul for all of like
2
a
seconds.
third of a movie, and he never said a word. And like he got sliced in half and he was done. And it was like, wow, but he's powerful? He didn't seem very powerful. It was just weird.
Yeah. So next is my favorite, absolute favorite,
easily the best of the dark side.
A cut to Palpatine. So I feel like instead of the Black Crystal being Snoke, I feel like Palpatine should have been the black one.
Definitely.
Because he played the best game of hide and go seek, you said?
The best. He is the hide and go seek champion for the last 40 years. I mean, dude was in hiding and nobody knew.
Yeah.
He got thrown off.
We thought he died.
He got thrown off the catwalk on the power converter center thing, whatever, in the Death Star by Darth Vader, plummeted down forever, and he survived?
Yeah.
What? And he's not the most sought after crystal? Blasphemy.
And like Luke witnessed it all, so you have like two witnesses that he died, even though like Vader died shortly after.
And Snoke was in the new movies for like all of
2 seconds,
like maybe 20 minutes if you're being generous. Like
as like what
At first he was just a holocron. I was just a hologram in the Return of the Jedi. Oh no, that wasn't the Return of the Jedi. That was the first movie, The Force Awakens. And then the Return of the Jedi, Episode 8, he was there, like, and then he was like body. Gone. Like he was killed by Kylo Ren. How powerful is he if he's got killed by Kylo Ren?
by a teenager with like
the only
depression
reason
and
that
anxiety.
Palpatine died was because they had Rey and Ben. Otherwise,
because
he
they
wouldn't
had,
go anywhere.
You know,
what was it? The dipole of the Force or whatever.
Yeah,
where
they had a Palpatine.
Oh, jeez.
And a Skywalker.
I would also like to say that I think it's pretty crappy that they didn't give a crystal to Kylo Ren. Like, I mean, I get it. I'm with you. I think that Kylo Ren is
He's
kind
too
of
moody.
a meh.
Too many mood swings.
He was an emo character.
He was PMSing all the movies. He was PMSing through. So
I mean, I don't disagree with that. But considering all of the other crystals that they gave to the dark side, they pretty much covered everybody.
Rey doesn't have one yet.
So Rey doesn't have a red crystal. She was never on the dark side.
But she doesn't have a Jedi crystal yet.
That's true.
And
I hope they release the two of them.
Leia doesn't have a crystal yet.
I hope they do that, but
so
I don't
you never
know
if Kylo will have one.
I hope they do. I hope they come out with newer crystals to make those, because that would be really cool. It would suck because then we'd have to go through this whole process again to find those crystals.
But anyway, to my pride and joy, Palpatine or Sidious.
And this is the Ian McDiarmid version of Sidious, the one from the second movie, from the third movie, the Sidious that we all know and love. This is the actor.
The hide and seek champion. I can open this. There we go.
There you go. If you pull the top one, it tends to have this little click to make sure it's open.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Such a good voice actor.
If one is to understand the great mystery, one must study all its aspects, not just the dogmatic, narrow view of the Jedi. If you wish to become a complete and wise leader, you must embrace a larger view of the Force.
Yeah, this is when he was Palpatine. This is when we knew him as Palpatine. Mm-hmm. And the other one was Sidious. And so they kind of bounce back and forth.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
He's just got such a good delivery with every line.
It's art. It's just art.
I can feel your anger.
So
it gives you focus, makes you stronger.
Gives me chills every time he talks. It's so good.
The Force is strong with you. A powerful Sith you will become.
That's when he's taking a poop. I'm pretty sure that's what he was doing. He was like reading the newspaper. Powerful Sith you will become.
You ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise? It's a Sith legend.
I like the crystals.
Darth Plagueis was a dark lord of the Sith, so powerful and so wise, he could use the Force to influence the midichlorians create life. He had such a knowledge of the dark side, he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. He became so powerful. The only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew. Then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
I find it funny with that one because I feel like they were trying to take all the song that was in the back or the music in the background out, and they just couldn't get certain parts out. So you hear little like flickers of like the song that was playing in the background. I find that hilarious.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. Let me help you to know the subtleties of the Force. My mentor taught me everything about the Force, even the nature of the dark side. I can feel your anger. It gives you focus, makes you stronger.
Yeah, it does.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
Yeah.
Let me help you to know the subtleties of the Force. My mentor taught me everything about the Force, even the nature of the dark side.
So during this whole time, I love when he tells the story about Darth Plagueis, because I feel like he's bragging about his own story, because I think we've pretty much come to the realization that he was the apprentice of Darth Plagueis. And that would mean that he killed Darth Plagueis.
Oh, yeah.
Which I love because he talks about it in such a way that makes him look like he's talking about it like it's a lore, but also like he's like the proud child of this wonderful story. It's very cool, especially when you watch him deliver it in Clone Wars. I really enjoyed it. Or not Clone Wars. It was the third one. I always forget the third one. The one where Anakin gets changed into Darth Vader. Spoilers.
Spoiler alert. So we have Darth Maul, who's a cut one that we're going to do.
And this is the Darth Maul voice, since he didn't have a voice in the original one.
This is from Rebels.
Rebels, yep.
Which is on Disney Plus.
Yeah, definitely check that out. It's awesome.
This is a Sith holocron, one that holds all their secrets.
In case
Yeah.
you didn't know.
You may notice that voice too. I forgot the name of the actor, but
It'll be in the description down below.
yeah.
Unless you take risks, do what must be done. There will always be limits to your abilities. Seize the knowledge, seize the power. The dark side fights without mercy, without remorse. If you want to be victorious, you need to find the same strength inside you. You were given your gift for one reason, to use it.
So in this quote, he's talking to Ezra about Ezra's gift and, how to use it.
He was very sympathetic to Ezra, even though Ezra was very clearly trying to stay good. And I know that that's the whole point of the dark side, is to try to sway the light to the dark. But I found it interesting that during the whole series of Rebels, he was bad, but he didn't always seem that bad. Like, obviously, he always had his own ulterior motive, but he was more of an anti-hero than he was a villain. Straight villain.
It seemed like all of the villains we came across were more like they were chosen to be villains rather than they were like, I'm gonna be a villain, except for that one blue guy.
Oh yeah, Thrain.
Yeah,
General Thrain, I think was his name.
Yeah, because they were just.
He was
like,
just so evil.
Yeah, he was just a monster.
He was so good though.
Because they were just like, oh, I was like pulled from birth, and like this was my upbringing. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, that's one of the nice things I liked about the Rebels.
kind of like idea behind it all. And so we're seeing a side of Darth Maul. You know, he's back to his
Really
home
enjoyed
planet and trying to.
Did he go back to his home planet?
Yeah, because he
Oh,
was
that's
at
where
the altar.
that's right. You're right. That's where they went back to find the Sith temple.
Yeah, so they were at the altar, and he's like, "This is my home planet. You know, I'm trying to, you know, bring peace and to this."
Yeah, to his silent sisters, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
His sisters or something like that. Sorry for all the spoilers if you haven't watched Rebels, but to be honest, it's worth the show. Even if we are spoiling it for you, it's really good.
And we're not spoiling that much. We're
not
just
at all.
Talking about these quotes that much, which aren't really spoilers.
No. I mean, if their own crystals
To
are
defeat
obviously
your
not spoilers.
enemy, you must know your enemy, even practice their beliefs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I doubt that you comprehend the power that is within your grasp.
Again, talking to Ezra. Most of these quotes are talking to Ezra.
It has been so long, and my path has been so dark. Darker than I ever dreamed it could be. Discarded, forgotten. I have missed so much. The Force feels out of balance.
That's where he's talking about going home and just his life growing up. And that was his home planet. It took me a minute to remember, is Dagomir. Is where he was born. And his people are all killed. It was actually, if you read up on it, I don't know if it's ever shown outside of comics. Might have been shown in the Clone Wars.
Well, Disney is coming out with a comic just about Darth Maul, right?
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw the first issue. I forgot what it was called, but it had Darth Maul and a couple of people of Dagomir descent. And Dagomirians it's a very cool race, and there's a lot of lore about it. You know, I love how the fan community has done a really good job of bolstering, like turning the Star Wars world, which was just originally this idea for a couple of movies, into this like
universe.
Yeah, they very much Tolkiened it up, and I really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
To defeat your enemy, you must know your enemy, even practice their beliefs.
So we're starting to repeat now. Yeah.
Sith holocrons are keys that can open many doors.
That's a new one. That's a good one.
It has been so long, and my path has been so dark. Darker than I ever dreamed it could be.
That's another reason.
Discarded, forgotten. I have missed so much. The Force feels out of balance.
But you can tell, like, he's very much the anti-hero, where he's just talking about how the dark side really was not a choice to him. It was more of a path that is the only path he could follow. And that's what was really cool about that.
So, you know, he has some sympathy in him, but, you know,
It's very little.
still a lot of evil
Yeah.
and, you know, hatred in him.
Yeah, we're not saying he's not evil. He is evil.
Yeah, we're not saying he's good at all. He's still, you know, bad.
Yeah.
So the last one we're going to talk about is, of course, the Black One, which was given the voice of Snoke. So this is a cut 4 that I have classified as. You can see the video talking about my classifications of cuts of crystals in the video that I have posted, also linked below. So we're going to play this one for you.
And this was voiced by Andy Sudeikis, who is well known for Golem. He also is well known for a bunch of other roles. He's done a lot of stuff, but obviously his biggest roles are Golem from Lord of the Rings. So you'll notice the voice. I mean, it took me a while to notice it because he's really talented with his voice acting.
The dark side and the light.
Very, very to the point.
I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten. There's been an awakening. Have you felt it? I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten. My worthy apprentice, where there was conflict, I now sense resolve. Where there was weakness, strength. Complete your training and fulfill your destiny. I cannot be betrayed. I cannot be beaten.
The quotes list on Snoke was a lot shorter than a lot of the other characters because there was less to go off.
So what we are going to show you is what happens when you do put a non-Sith crystal inside of the Sith holocron. So for this, I'm just going to use this is a Maz Cut 2.
And it's the same thing with all of the Jedi crystals.
Yes.
They have different colors though. So in this one goes yellow.
Yep.
Good. Use your aggressive feeling. Let the heat flow through you. It is unavoidable. It is your destiny. You are now mine. If you will not be turned, you will be destroyed.
So good. Such good
Give
acting.
in to your anger. With each passing moment, you make yourself more my servant.
Oh, my favorite one.
Good. Your hate has made you powerful. Now, fulfill your destiny.
The evil cackle of Palpatine
If
cannot
you
be
will
rivaled.
Not be turned, you will be destroyed. I have been expecting you. I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master. It is unavoidable. It is your destiny. You are now mine.
So just as to show you that it's all the same, I'm going to put a Mace Windu. Turns purple.
Good. Use your aggressive feeling. Let the heat flow through you. Good. I can feel your anger.
And then
Let's
Here-
pick another one.
here's
Yeah.
a Cheru. And now it's turned white.
I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master.
So,
We might want to show one more thing.
yeah.
We also want to show, because this I actually didn't think about this at first, but we might want to show what a Sith crystal sounds
Oh,
like in a
yeah.
Jedi holocron.
Of course, let's do that.
Because that is also slightly different. Now, of course,
Ooh.
you're not going to get the...
Gotta find the hole.
Finding the hole is insane sometimes. Where did... Oh, there it
Tim's
is.
got to find the hole. everyone.
Hey-oh! So like with that one, you get Sidious. With this one, no matter what red you put in, or if you put in Snoke, you're going to get the same
Because
voice.
Snoke is a red.
Yeah. Because Snoke defaults as a red. So when you put a red in, it goes red. But instead, did I turn it off? Oh man, super sensitive. So now you're gonna get
Beware. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side are they. Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Careful you must be when sensing the future. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side. If you end your training now, if you choose the quick and easy path, as Vader did, you will become an agent of evil.
Yep.
Careful you must be when sensing the future. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side. Beware. Anger, fear, aggression. The dark side are they. Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny.
So I
It
think
sounded like it was a little constipated.
Attachment leads to jealousy, the shadow of greed, that
I think that's all of his.
Hard to see the dark side is.
Yeah, he's got like there's a few. There's not many of them.
Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. Consume you it will, as it did Obi-Wan's apprentice. Hard to see the dark side is.
Yep.
So you can see we've gone through most of them, and just for the sake of showing you, even though these are red, we're still going to show you a Snoke as well, show you that it does read as red. So put Snoke in, if he fits in, and then reads as a red, just like everything else, and it's the same quotes. So cool.
Well, thank you guys, and stay tuned for our other video where we talk about all the other colors. Okay, bye!
Yep.